Hello, sweet friend. Thank you so much for coming back to watch another video. I know I kind of jump scared you with like starting with a vlog, and then now I'm like, hey, it's me, get to know me. But that is what we're going to be doing today. I asked some questions on my Instagram. I can put my Instagram here just so you know you can follow it for even more kind of indie related content. But I got my little notepad here. I've got my Busty Lush non-alcoholic tropical IPA. Yeah, because that's a thing. Super good. So I'll be sipping on that throughout because it's 5 o'clock and yeah, it's tasty. So let's get started. So there were a few questions about like background and kind of how I became me, I guess. So to run it all back, there was a day that I was born. No, I'm kidding. In 2015, I graduated high school and then went immediately that summer, I guess, to University of Northern Iowa. I'm from Iowa. I was born and raised there. I lived there from birth to undergrad. So I went to University of Northern Iowa and I was a history major. I started as a teaching major and then like a week in, I switched to history because it was like, I'm not gonna hang out with other people's kids all day. And so I had taken so many classes in high school that I was like a junior when I started. So I ended up graduating 2 years early. And then so I had to start looking at grad school because I knew that with my history major, I wanted to go to grad school. And I decided I wanted to go to museum studies, which is really niche and weird and people like don't even know it's a field you can go into, but like people work at museums, people have careers at museums, and that's the thing that we'll kind of get into with the career thing is like you pretty much retire and or die in the job you're in. I'm sure it kind of has changed now, but so I was looking at I think 4 different grad schools in the Midwest kind of region, like Kansas, Indy, Missouri. I ended up visiting here and loved it. There was just so many historical monuments, plaques to read everywhere about the history of the city, so it was really exciting to like be in a city that I felt really cared about its history. So you know, did the whole grad school thing. I think I graduated 5 days before I turned 22, so that was really interesting and making friends because my whole first year of grad school I couldn't even go to a brewery with my classmates because I wasn't old enough. So that was really kind of funny. But then when I did turn legal age, it was like doing trivia all the time at the tap, and definitely became really close to my grad school people that way. But so then 2019, I've graduated with my master's in museum studies, and of course it's like, what do you do then? So I applied to like 300 jobs, got maybe 5 interviews, and then I said, you know what, like this is kind of lame. This rejection really sucks. I need a creative outlet. My friends were like, you love the internet, so what if you just did something on that? So I decided to turn to Instagram. And I started out as like my regular handle. It was Haley McCoy 16 because Shay is my middle name. It's not my first name, but that was my first handle that I had like created my Instagram with in like middle school. And I really started posting a lot like fashion stuff because that's all I was seeing. I was seeing a lot of fashion bloggers, seeing a lot of Nordstrom, a lot of Target, a lot of like to know it, and I do some of that now, but I ended up realizing like I don't see anyone talking about things to do in indie that are fun and like for our age group and that aren't just like drinking. So that was kind of rough, and I was like, well, if I don't see it, why don't I just become it? So that's kind of where City of Shay was born, and that name came about because it was a little more broad and vague, and you know, if I ever move, which I don't plan to, it's still like, you know, applicable, and I've always wanted to go by Shay, so it's exciting to like now be Shay. So that's kind of how that all started. It's a really weird story. I don't think people realize museums are involved in it. But that's kind of how City of Shay came to be in September of 2019. And kind of tying into that, one of the questions was, did I create totally new? socials and platforms when I started, or did I just go off of what I already had? And I did just go off of what I already had. I think I had around like 700 followers from just, you know, like school, like family, just I was a social person, so just 700 people that I probably did genuinely know of or just like. So yeah, I didn't really want like ever think about making a new account. It just seemed like I could just start, and I think that actually works out for the best because you already have like that group of people that's following you, and so it's not like it is kind of out of the ordinary that you're posting a little bit more frequently about a little bit more of a like more niche topic, but the people that will want to see that will stay, and then hopefully because you're being authentic and talking about things you want to talk about, more people will find you. People will always find you is what I've realized. Like, they'll always find you. Then I got tips on becoming a creator and establishing a following. Number one is be authentic, and going into that, don't really go into it for the money. Yes, it's a billion-dollar industry to be a creator, but you definitely don't start out with a billion-dollar check. Making money, it takes a lot of relationship building is what I've realized. Since my page is so hyper local, it's taken me the 3 years I've been doing it to kind of see a return on my work, and really taking the time to establish partnerships, like actually frequenting the businesses I talk about, tagging the crap out of everything, just to like make my presence more known in the city has really helped. And then word of mouth honestly has helped a lot with creating a following. But yeah, I think just like start posting about what you care about, and like the people will come. It sounds so simple, but I really do believe it's like the easiest way to kind of start. And I also am always operating under the mentality of like, if one person sees it, that's amazing. I impacted one person that day. It's so easy to get discouraged when you put in so much work to make a video or like film a TikTok or like edit a really cool Instagram post, and it's like, oh, only my mom liked it. It's like, well, that's cool. I'm sure your mom's really proud of you. And like, not to be toxically positive, but it's like, it's just not realistic for everything to do well. Algorithms change, it's just timing of the post may be interesting. So I really wouldn't like set your heart on like, oh my gosh, I have to like have everything go viral, because it's just not realistic, and it'll kind of make you feel like a downer all the time. So I think it's a big tip too, is like if one person sees it, you've impacted one person that day, and that's more than you probably did before. So that's my biggest tips on that. What inspired me to start YouTube? So I have a lot of time on my hands, honestly. I live alone. I'm always bebopping around by myself, and it really doesn't bother me to like chat. I'm an extrovert. So I obviously have my Instagram, I have TikTok, I have Pinterest, I have LinkedIn, I have the Twitter I don't really use. What else? A podcast. Yeah, YouTube is just something I kind of did a little bit when I moved here. I did some makeup videos and stuff, and I don't think those are listed anymore. But I figured it's a lot more of a like casual site. Like TikTok is hard for me because I just want to repurpose things, and it's a lot harder for me to like want to chat on there. But I feel like here it's a little more casual, a little more laid back. I think long form video just like caters to my personality a little bit more. I'm always watching vlogs. If I'm home on a Friday night, I'm probably gonna watch like whatever's trending. I'll watch Bridgerton or something like that, but I'm 100% of the time probably watching YouTube vlogs of like people I follow on Instagram. So yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of fun to make what I do go a little bit further and hopefully introduce a whole new audience to amazing things we have here in Indianapolis. Okay, what is something you love that more people should know about but don't? That's hard because that's very broad. I don't know if you mean like Indianapolis or in general. I think Indianapolis related, we'll just keep it that. Brewery food, underrated. I don't even drink anymore, so it's like weird for me to kind of like think about that, but brewery food here is really underrated. A ton of breweries here have like amazing, Upland for example has some of the best food. It's my favorite ranch in the city. So that's something I'm very passionate about. That's something I love, a ranch. But I think that is a good one. We have a lot of great outdoor space. I think that ultimately there's something here for everyone. There's something here for the sporty people, the musical people, the artsy people, the outdoorsy people. So I think that's just really fun. And I think people don't realize that when they see Indy. They just see sports and racing, which is fine. But there's a lot more to be had here than just those things. So yeah. And lastly, what are my favorite fun things to do and to eat? To eat, I would say in my top, let's say like top 3. Modita is one of my favorite restaurants. They have really good mapo tofu that I like. So much more like a beverage girly. Like when I think of places to eat, I just want to think about places I like to get coffee. So like Provider's one of my favorite places. They have really good pistachio latte and a really good vegan breakfast sandwich. And it's so hard to be like on the spot on these things. I just love Asian food. Like Little Dumplings in the Garage is amazing. Shoyu Shop for ramen at Irvington is really good. And then things to do. Like you could like walk. I think it's a good way to like explore your city. When I moved here, I just parked. I didn't even like know kind of where I was. I didn't have my bearings because I've only been here to look for apartments, and then a few months later I moved and didn't know anybody. So I just parked near Mass Ave and walked around for like 4 or 5 hours. And it was such a great way to like see what there was to explore. That's like my biggest tip for anyone that moves to a city they don't know anything about. Just like park somewhere and walk. Like obviously be safe, like use your common sense, like maybe do some research on the area if you don't feel like it's going to be a safe area. But it was Mass Ave on like a Sunday afternoon, so it was a really great like learning experience, kind of just like diving in and then learning how to swim kind of vibe. So that's probably my favorite thing to do. I just love like going to new places that have opened. So if you need some of those, definitely follow along because that's my thing. I like cute like date night ideas, like making candles, movies. I love the can a lot. I obviously love touching my face. Like goodness. What else? It's so hard to be on the spot. Like the Monon's great. I love a good like lunch date. Yeah, I'm low-key kind of boring. I don't really do that much other than like go out to eat and talk about things to do. So yeah, but that's kind of all I have. I hope that helped you kind of learn more about me and like how I became me, and hopefully help you start out doing some of this yourself if that's what you are interested in. The world needs as many creatives as we can. It's never too saturated for your story, so I think that's really important to remember too. But yeah, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you resonated with any of this. If there's other questions you have, I am more than happy to answer them in the comments. And if you made it this far, tell me your favorite fun thing to do in the city. I would love to know, and we'll see if we could go do it together maybe. So, all right, thanks so much. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.